Hello, welcome. So I just attempted to film this review and pause it to try to create chapters, and that just did not work for me because it threw me off my train of thought. And this is why I do one continuous recording. There's no cuts because I lose my train of thought. So I tried. I tried. Okay. Well, welcome to my full spoiler-free review of Mortal Kombat 2. For those that have come directly to my full spoiler-free review, I'll do a very quick summary again. So for those that don't know, Mortal Kombat is a video game franchise, and they've come out with a number of movies, but they're not all connected. However, the 2021 Mortal Kombat and the 2026 Mortal Kombat 2, they are connected. They're part of the live action reboot. And the movie does say action, but it is bloody, violent, gory action, just as a heads up to people that this is not this is definitely, I would say, for violence, it's an 18A movie, 100%. The video game franchise itself, I'm pretty sure, still banned in some countries because of just how crazy violent these games are. And so I have not watched the 2021 one. I am planning on watching it and then seeing this movie again. So I guess you have, there were fan favorite champions from the first one. I don't know if the first Mortal Kombat involved the Mortal Kombat where you actually have essentially a number of rounds with your characters. And I believe it's 5 rounds where, you each have essentially 5 attempts to kill the other person or other character or champion. And the premise is the same. That's what I noticed about the movie, that they had, 5 blue, light up totems and then 5 red light up totems. And so you had these fan favorite champions that have now brought this guy named Johnny Cage, and they are pitted against one another in this ultimate gory, no bars battle to defeat this dark ruler named Shao Kahn, who has set his sights on the Earth realm to essentially bring them into his dominion, and he's threatening the very existence of Earth and its defenders, which I believe are these fan favorite champions. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into my my full spoiler-free review. I'm Shay, and let's get started. So Johnny Cage, from what I understand, so he is a guy that he's an actor, and I was thinking in like some of his moves was very much like Jackie Chan, and just the kung fu he was doing was very 80s. It was awesome. And, it's one of those, we speed up to present day, and, he's someone that is no longer, in his in his prime, I guess you could say. And, he was the big star, like a star that, your dad would have watched these movies. And, he's not the guy that he was. And, he doesn't, he's really down on himself and, very hopeless. And then, here he's called to, fight these champions and fight with these champions that all have powers, and he's like, I'm just an actor, guys. And it's quite interesting watching his transformation as a person throughout the movie. I really, really like that. One thing that I just gotta say is that I just got to go back to the kills. The kills. I mean, I've played some Mortal Kombat, and, you know, I was just waiting for some kills to happen. I was just waiting. I'm like, I feel like they're going to do this. And then they did. So there were some very, very, very epic kills. And I believe, I haven't played a lot of Mortal Kombat. I've played it a little bit. I know that every champion has like a signature move, attack. I'm not too sure what you would call it. And I don't know, because I haven't played all the characters or champions, I don't know all their signature ones, but I believe that there were at least a couple that I saw that we got to see their like signature, which was awesome. And I mean, it's one that I normally don't sit up. Like, there's some people when I'm in the theater and, you know, I see them sitting up and they're like completely focused. I sat up a couple times because I was so immersed into this movie. I mean, IMAX was epic. It was epic. And, you know, another thing with this movie is that it was funny. Like, there were a lot of, like references. I wouldn't say to pop culture in the sense of, you know, celebrities, but pop culture in the sense of like nerdy pop culture. Like, there were Harry Potter references, there were Lord of the Rings references. You know, there were a lot of these, you know, classic nerd-esque references. And, you know, there's some of the characters in this movie were just so funny. You know, and it's one of those things that at the same time, even though it was really funny, it was also really brutal in a lot of ways, beyond the gore, beyond the violence. You know, there's a lot of, like, pain and hurt. And, you know, I guess there are things that happened in the 2021 one that they reference in this one of betrayal, maybe. I'm not too sure because I haven't seen the 2021 one. But I'm really, really curious about if there are things that, you know, because you see like flashbacks and you see memories in this one, and it makes me wonder if some of those are ones that you actually get to see clips of in the 2021 one. So I'm really curious. I'm going to go and watch that one. But honestly, this is a movie that I would say that if you heard anything really negative about the movie, disregard it. One thing that I noticed, and, you know, it just goes to show when you go to these early screenings, because I saw it early today, it's out tomorrow, is the people that go to see the movie. And I was really, really, really surprised by the people that I actually saw come in. I was so surprised because, you know, I'm at the 7:30 p.m. screening today, and I would say like 80% of the theater were all people at least in their 50s. I was so surprised. I was not expecting that at all. You know, when I looked at people in the room, you know, I may have saw, you know, a couple people that looked like they were in their 20s, but a majority of people were like 35 plus. I was really, really surprised. That was just something that I did not expect at all, which I loved. I loved that, you know, you go to movies that you never know who's going to be there. And, you know, I was very surprised at the audience in a good way. So that was a really great thing, that it was very separate from the movie. But, you know, this is a movie that had twists, had unexpected things. You know, there were things that I had to kind of like move my legs because I was just like, oh. And, you know, I guess with the games, so when you play the games, it's kind of like those that have played Super Mario Smash, where you have different, you have Yoshi's Island, and, you have the Star Foxes, with the highway or with the plane or jet, and then you have Donkey Kong's with the rapids, and it's very much like that, where it seems like each champion, the ones that have power, all kind of have their own. I don't know if you would call it set, but they have that with Mortal Kombat, but I don't know if it's randomized. That's the one thing. I don't know. It might be something that's completely randomized and it has nothing to do with the champions. It could be that, where some champions have, where, like home field advantage, where it's like home field being there, like they're playing, or I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know that much about Mortal Kombat. Now, I want to just take a second of this article that I had looked at the header of before I went into the movie, and it's from Screen Rant, and it says Mortal Kombat 2 Rotten Tomatoes score officially breaks all-time franchise record by miles. And then it goes into how it can officially claim victory and how that it's doing quite well. And I guess the first reviews are saying that it can be declared a triumph. The special effects, the like movie gore, it wasn't like the like CGI wasn't super CGI-y. That was one thing that I noticed. It was very much like it was live action. Like, it was really, really well done. The costumes, also the like combat, it's a movie that I would almost really like to see the behind the scenes of, what did they use harnesses and what did they actually like learn martial arts wise. I would love, to actually see the behind the scenes and what all went into it, because there's so many elements to this movie that were just epic, and like the areas that they were in were just awesome, very, very, very awesome. And honestly, it's one that disregard. It's one of those movies that I say that the critics are not always spot on. And this is one that they're not spot on. I really enjoyed this movie. Now, I was surprised at how the theater wasn't busier, but I can understand that people are a little bit wary or uncertain about, especially when it comes to big video game franchises, that some people can be a little bit wary, especially because they've come out with a number of Mortal Kombat movies that I, even talking to, one or two people, they said, I might wait for it to come out. And they said, let me know what you think. And honestly, I don't know if you're going to get the same experience as you would if you saw it in IMAX. Getting the specialty screen format is one thing, but also experiencing it with other people, instead of just sitting in silence. I was laughing louder than most people. And when I would laugh at times, there were other people that would start laughing. And I couldn't help myself but go like, oh, I can't help myself. And I had a lot of fun. I honestly think I had more fun watching it in the theaters. I went alone. I think I had more fun watching it in the theaters alone than I would have watching it home alone. So honestly, this movie was very, very, very enjoyable. And I thought it was I thought it was fun. It was very, very violent. The way the story, the movie kind of wrapped up, I really enjoyed as well. And I didn't see any post-credit scene. Now, I didn't stay all the way to the very, very, very end, so I don't know if there was a final credit scene. I am seeing the movie again on Saturday night, so I'll probably stay and see if there's another one. But thoroughly, I'm really happy I ended up seeing it. And this is a movie that I feel like, even though it's weird to say because, a lot of movies tend to be really busy on opening weekend, I feel like it's going to get busier after this weekend. You have Mother's Day this weekend as well, so I'm sure that's playing a role. I don't know how many people would bring their moms to see Mortal Kombat, to be honest. But I can see it getting busier next week, and it's deserving of that because this was an epic, very satisfying. I was very, very satisfied with the direction it took. I loved the character development with not just Johnny Cage. There was a lot of surprises, and there's double agents in a sense in some of the characters. But again, because I haven't seen the 2021 one, I have no idea if some of the people that you would see that were good were actually bad in the 2021 one, and vice versa. I have no idea. So I'm gonna have to watch the first one and then potentially wait to do a review for the second one and then kind of do a combination. I'm not sure yet, but thoroughly, it was a great watch. I actually, before watching the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie, I want to actually go, there's a YouTube video, which I think I'm going to link below, for those that haven't played the games but are curious about the champions. I came across a YouTube video that goes through and explains all the champions, and so I think I'm gonna watch that as well. So I'm gonna not only, I'll link the Screen Rant article, but I'm also going to link the Mortal Kombat champion breakdown, so then others can also learn about who these champions are and their abilities. And I don't even know if they'll have backstories. It'd be really cool if they do, because if people only have the energy or time to watch one or the other, they could choose. I'm not too sure. I will update and say, I'll update in the comments saying, the champion YouTube video that I shared has the backstories and what details it has. I'll come back and update. But other than that, I thank you. I hope you liked my review. Is this a movie, after watching my review, that you're actually going to give this movie a chance? Is it one that you were also kind of on the fence, but you're going to watch the movie now? Is it one that you were, you weren't too sure if you were going to see it in theaters, but you want to see it in theaters now? Is it one that you did see and you really liked? Please come down to the comments and let me know if it's one that you also really liked, and where you stood compared to the critics in my review, or if you just have other things to say, please go down in the comments. I read all my comments. I thank everybody in every single one of my videos. Thank you for actually sticking until the very end and listening and watching, or just playing in the background. I'm very, very appreciative of every person that watches my videos. If you think this is worthy of a like and share, that would be fantastic. I understand there's no chapters. Hopefully as my channel grows, I'll be able to get an editor, and then they can do all that stuff, because I'm filming in one straight shot. That's the only way that works for me. And that's just my format. And yeah, if you're enjoying my videos, you can subscribe. There's no fee or anything for those that subscribe, but you can turn on all notifications. You can hit the little bell and turn on all notifications. And then when I upload things, you get a notification alert as soon as I upload. And because I go to the early access screenings, I usually end up posting my reviews early. Not always, but I usually do. So you'll be able to, play the review while you're cleaning or cooking, just having something in the background. So again, thank you so much. I hope you liked my review, and until the next one, thanks so much. Bye.